Sheriff's Office has just come over and told me is that they responded to the Carriage Hill Apartments this afternoon to reports of people with weapons, firearms, is what he told me. And he says deputies left that scene and they subsequently heard gunshots from this shopping center parking lot. Right here you can see the Kroger, the Cold Stone Creamery. He said they responded to the parking lot of this shopping center after hearing gunshots, after responding to those reports of people brandishing firearms at the Carriage Hill Apartments. Now, he says after deputies responded, after they heard those gunshots and responded to the shopping center's parking lot, they saw 4 people with guns in this area. Now, they say they did apprehend all 4, but 2 of those people brandishing those weapons did run into the Kroger that he told me, and they said they did clear out and evacuate that Kroger as a safety precaution. Now, as you can see, there's a vehicle being loaded on a tow truck. Major Batchelor tells me that vehicle is not at all involved in this scene. He tells me that this was a separate traffic accident that just happened to be going on at the same time as this incident. Major Batchelor also tells me that nobody was injured or shot as a result of this incident. There is crime scene tape. This is a very large scene, as you can see. There's crime scene tape behind over by the Cold Stone. There's also more over closer to this gas station here. And there's a few cones over on the ground there with roughly about 15 to 20 markers indicating bullet casings. And as we said, this is a very large scene here at the Tom Hill Senior Boulevard Shopping Center parking lot. There's still deputies responding on scene. Major Batchelor did tell me a few deputy cars just left. He said they're responding to another shooting currently, but there still is an active scene going on here near this shopping center parking lot on Tom Hill Senior Boulevard. As you can see, there's still multiple deputies' vehicles located here. They're blocking off a lane of traffic over closer to the Tom Hill Senior Boulevard and the Culvers and the pet supermarket over there. And over here, as I mentioned, they're towing this vehicle that was not involved in this incident. Major Batchelor with the Bibb County Sheriff's Office tells me. He says that was a separate traffic accident and was not involved in this incident. And as you can still see, this is still a very large scene. There's still some traffic movement going on, so this road here is not closed. It looks very much largely contained to the parking lot of this Kroger and the Tom Hill Senior Boulevard Shopping Center. And over here, Chris Williams is coming over to provide us with more details, and we'll update you once we're done speaking with him.
Hello.
Hi, how are you, Sergeant?
I'm doing good, Miss Dunn. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Colin, you doing okay, brother?
I can hold this.
Oh, are y'all live?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry about that, y'all. Good to see you all. How can I help y'all?
Any injuries reported here?
Absolutely none, ma'am. Thank God. There are no injuries reported.
Okay. And where did this incident start?
Okay, the incident started right here at the intersection of Tom Hill Senior Boulevard and Northside Drive. Now, this all started when deputies were in the area investigating a report of someone seen with a firearm that was at a nearby apartment complex, Carriage Hill Apartments. While they were investigating that, deputies heard multiple shots in this area. They left the investigation at that site and they came here. Once here, as you see the small SUV that's being towed away, they saw multiple individuals get out of that SUV and begin running, multiple ones with backpacks. Some were dropping them. So deputies pursued those individuals. 2 were taken into custody. While those 2 were taken into custody, additional deputies responded to the scene and they evacuated Kroger because those individuals seen running towards that area. Once deputies evacuated Kroger, we got 1 additional suspect into custody and another additional one behind Kroger, behind the shopping plaza area, okay? So 4 suspects in custody, 3 18-year-old gentlemen and 1 21-year-old male, okay? Several firearms were recovered. Also, narcotics were recovered. So at this time, we're investigating how all this came to play. We're crossing all our circumstances out to lead to a investigation where we know exactly what happened and what's related to what. So as we're doing this investigation at this time, we just ask that you stand by. We'll update you as soon as we can put all this together through a media release. Again, no one was hurt. Everybody is safe. No injuries reported whatsoever, including the suspects.
Do we know if they were firing those guns at anybody or if they were just firing in the air? We saw several markers over there indicating perhaps shell casings. Do you know what they were firing at?
Not at this time, as stated, Ms. Dunn. That's what we're investigating.
Okay. Was this scene contained to the shopping center parking lot as well as this bit of the road here?
Yes, ma'am. Where the SUV was spotted, we blocked that off, and the area where the firing took place.
So just to be clear, that SUV, that Jeep that's being towed was being used by the suspects?
That is what the suspects were seen fleeing from.
Okay. And that sand on the ground, is that a result of oil leaking out of the vehicle? Is that...
That's quite possible. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do we
And
know...
we don't know if that's related to this incident or not.
Understand. Do we
It's
know...
just a safety precaution.
Is there anything else that you can share with us about this situation?
Now, at this time, as stated, the investigators are currently working on all the circumstances leading up to the incident. And once we find out more, we will definitely update you all.
Did deputies, when they were at the Carriage Hill Apartments, did they make any contact with anybody?
No, they was currently involved in that investigation when this happened, so they had to leave and come investigate this to make sure no one was harmed or there weren't any active threats going on at the time.
Understand. Is there any threat to the public at this time?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
As stated, we're investigating.
Understand. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was Sergeant Chris Williams, as he just provided some more details to us live, as that vehicle was just being taken off scene here. And we now know that that vehicle was potentially involved with the suspects, as he stated, multiple gentlemen, 3 18-year-olds, one 21-year-old male arrested at the scene here after an incident that started at the Carriage Hill Apartments. Again, I'm going to take a step out of the way just so we can see more and see how large this scene is here as Chris Williams is walking towards those deputies there. There's also a scene over on the right with several shell casings on the ground, yellow indicators indicating where shots may have been fired. As he said, no injuries reported, and it's unclear what exactly they were shooting at. He states that this is still under active investigation and there is no threat to the public currently. And again, he mentioned that all 4 suspects were apprehended, 2 of them at the Kroger, which was evacuated as a safety precaution, as stated, and that vehicle that the suspects were seen fleeing out of also just towed from the scene. You can see it on the back of that truck towards those deputies' vehicles there. It looks like several of the windows are down. I'm not sure if they've been damaged at all, but they are down. And again, Sergeant Williams telling us that there were narcotics involved in this situation as well. And again, we'll be waiting on further details from the Bibb Sheriff's Office once we get them. We also just heard from Chris Williams that the Kroger has been reopened again. It was evacuated out of a safety precaution after 2 of those suspects were apprehended there. As Sergeant Chris Williams just told us live, one of those suspects was apprehended at the grocery store, while another was apprehended by the back of it. And the other 2 suspects involved in this were also apprehended. As he stated, 4 suspects total, 3 18-year-old males, one 21-year-old male, all 4 arrested at this time. Again, this is still an active investigation, so we're working to figure out what the charges are that they're being arrested for. However, we do know that this scene started at the Carriage Hill apartment complex after deputies responded after reports of somebody brandishing a weapon there. And again, as Sergeant Chris Williams just told us, they were responding at that scene when they heard gunshots at this shopping center on Tom Hill Senior Boulevard by the Kroger, and so they responded here afterwards. And as a result of that, they were able to find those 4 individuals brandishing multiple firearms, as well as narcotics. There were narcotics involved in this. As Sergeant Williams told us, there were backpacks that those individuals were leaving behind, and their vehicle that they were seen leaving out of is over there on the back of that tow truck. It was just removed from this scene here. You can see some of the sand over by the intersection where that car was located, and the fire department was there as well. However, we do know that all 4 of those suspects are in custody. And as you can also see over by where that vehicle on the back of the tow truck is, there's several yellow markers with the caution tape, and we believe that is where some of the shell casings are. Our videographer counted roughly 15 to 20 of those yellow markers there. However, we do know that nobody was injured and nobody was killed as a result of this incident after Sergeant Chris Williams came over and confirmed that to us. He also confirmed there is not an active threat to the public. We can see here as well, there's several members in BSO looking on the road here. It appears they're looking on the ground. They also have a camera as well as they're walking down this street here. And again, we are not sure who those individuals were shooting at or why they were shooting. That is still under active investigation. However, we do know that nobody was injured as a result of this incident. And as you can see, several members of BSO still patrolling this street in front of us here over by the Kroger Shopping Center on Tom Hill Senior Boulevard. And again, 4 individuals arrested as a result of this incident, which started at the Carriage Hill apartment complex not too far. That is where Bibb deputies originally responded before coming to this shopping center after hearing gunshots here. And as you can see, several members of Bibb Sheriff's Office taking some photos of the road below. But again, we know no injuries reported as a result of this incident. But it is still under active investigation. And as you can see, just behind some of those members of Bibb Sheriff's Office is a vehicle on the back of a tow truck. It is a Jeep. Appears to be a navy blue Jeep with a tire on the back. That is the vehicle that Sergeant Williams says some of these suspects were seen exiting when deputies responded to this incident. And now it is being taken away from the scene. And again, we know 4 individuals arrested as a result of this incident, 3 18-year-old males and 1 21-year-old male. I did see one of the Bibb Sheriff's deputies escorting what appeared to be a male from one Bibb Sheriff's Office vehicle into another, and he appeared to be in handcuffs as well. And we do know that it's 3 18-year-old males, 1 21-year-old male arrested as a result of this incident, which again started at the Carriage Hill apartment complex not too far away after Bibb Sheriff's Office received reports of somebody brandishing a weapon there. And again, they responded there at first, and then they had to leave that scene to come to the shopping center on Tom Hill Senior Boulevard after hearing reports of gunfire, and that is where they apprehended these 4 suspects. Again, 2 of them were arrested at the scene, and then an additional 2 arrested at the Kroger shopping area, which you can see in this shopping center here. It takes up a very large portion of this shopping center, and we do know that as a precautionary measure, that Kroger was evacuated, but it has been reopened as of right now, according to Sergeant Chris Williams with Bibb Sheriff's Office. And we do know that those 2 individuals, one was arrested at the shopping area and the other was arrested behind the shopping area. We do know that this incident happened just after 2 p.m. and again starting at the Carriage Hill apartment complex. And a large presence has been mostly removed from this area. There were a lot more Bibb County Sheriff's deputies' vehicles on scene, some of them blocking. And it was largely a taped off scene here as well down this road where that vehicle was towed away from where you can see that large spot of sand. That is where the suspect's alleged vehicle, the vehicle that they were seen exiting, was in the middle of the road there before it was towed away by a tow truck and Bibb Sheriff's Office. And this large lane, that right lane right by where that car was recovered, was largely taped off. And we also did see several members of the Bibb Sheriff's Office patrolling this median area, sort of where you see that yellow stripe in the road. We saw them walking up and down there, picking up a few things, taking photos. And there's still a large portion of this shopping area which is taped off. As you can see, lots of crime scene tape, and you can also see over there some of those yellow markers on the ground indicating shell casings. We're not exactly sure how many rounds were fired off, but we do know that nobody was injured as a result of this incident, and this is still an active crime scene, as you can see, still tape up in this area. Major Batchelor with the Bibb Sheriff's Office also told me that some of those responding deputies did have to respond to another shooting shortly after I arrived on scene. And again, I did see one individual being escorted by the Bibb Sheriff's Office between two sheriff's deputy vehicles. He appeared to be in handcuffs, and Sergeant Chris Williams confirming to us that there were 4 suspects apprehended and arrested as a result of this incident. 3 of them 18-year-old males, 1 of them a 21-year-old male. And again, this incident starting at the Carriage Apartments. As I mentioned, the Bibb Sheriff's Office receiving reports there of somebody brandishing a firearm. And then they left that scene shortly after they heard shots coming from this shopping center area. And as you can see, some of that crime tape still up, some of those yellow markers still on the ground there where a sheriff's deputy vehicle is. And again, 4 suspects, all of them apprehended. There is no threat to the public currently. There were 2 suspects that were apprehended at the Kroger shopping area, as you can see in that shopping center. However, again, there is no threat to the public and nobody was injured as a result of this incident, and that Kroger has reopened. We're still here right on Northside Drive and near the corner of Tom Hill Senior Boulevard. There's still an active scene after reports of gunfire from this Tom Hill Senior Boulevard shopping center area. And we do know, as confirmed by the Bibb Sheriff's Office and Sergeant Christopher Williams, that this incident started as a result of a report of somebody brandishing a weapon at the Carriage Hill apartment complex not too far from the scene. And we also know that deputies did leave that scene after hearing reports of gunfire here at this shopping center parking lot. And as you can see, a large portion of that scene still taped off. This is a very vast scene over where the deputies' cars are, over on my left by the Cold Stone, all the way over to this gas station. There is some crime scene tape still up. This was a little bit more active a while ago when more deputies were on scene. There was also Macon Bibb Fire on scene as well. And as I mentioned, 4 suspects total apprehended as a result of this incident. 3 18-year-old males, 1 21-year-old male. We know that there is no active threat to the public, and 2 of those suspects were arrested at the Kroger, and the Kroger was evacuated as a safety measure. However, we also know that that Kroger is now reopened. We'll update you as soon as we hear more on this story. For now, Olivia Dunn, 13 WMAZ News.